why you're struggling to manifest, and what you can do about it. In this video, I'm going to be sharing with you insights and reflections that I've gained somewhat recently, and also as a result of experiences in my personal life. So the first important thing to understand is how you are manifesting. What is the process? It's not like a metaphysical thing. This is a scientific. Once science progresses, which it already is with quantum physics, soon there will be a science of the mind, and this is where yogic wisdom and siddha wisdom and all these things come into play. However, they're looked at and perceived more as an esoteric, metaphysical kind of fringe thing. Eventually, when this siddha yogic wisdom combines with what we have now, or called today as modern science, we're going to have something like a science of the mind, where the mind is going to be mapped very systematically. And what I'm trying to say here is your mind is akin to a movie projector, if you will. Your reality, what we see and experience through the five senses, including what we create to experience, not just the light frequencies that we see as a tree, is a tree because light free. No, the actual circumstances that we synchronize around us is being created from the mind. The mind itself is projecting this out to create circumstances. In other words, this is a very important thing that you have to understand is there are no mistakes. There are zero mistakes. Everything from the tiniest, teeniest detail is being put out from your mind. There is nothing else. In other words, this entire reality, this entire experience is your mind. Now, when you're manifesting, you're trying to do is plant a thought, a strong thought that eventually materializes into three-dimensional reality, because a thought in your mind, after all, started out as a very, very subtle vibration. And through that, and that subtle vibration comes up through from your navel chakra, and it's called, I think, Pasyanti. You can look at it. I'm not going to get into the Sanskrit. It's just but I'll say the yogic wisdom is profound. They already explained this better than I probably can. But the thought starts out as very subtle, and it becomes more gross. And at the grossest level, it becomes the world that we see. So all the people in your life, where you live, how you live, the clothes that you're wearing, things that are around you, the way your environment is organized, everything is all being projected out from the mind. And also there's a collective mind. So we also have a collective mind where we're all connected, and that's why on a smaller scale, to give you an example, there's people who live in certain neighborhoods, right? So there's people who live in certain neighborhoods. They live in certain neighborhoods because they're thinking the same way. That's why there's an example I think Dr. Pye has given before. If you drive through a neighborhood, like a neighborhood that's very impoverished, or they have to do a lot of things, like it's like they're angry, it doesn't feel good. You feel uncomfortable. Part of you feels unsafe because that collection of thoughts there, that collective mind that lives in that location, is different than yours, and it's a clash, right? So like when you go on vacation or you travel to a new place that's completely new, it's out of state or out of country, it feels very weird at first. And the reason it feels really weird at first is because your mind and the collective thoughts there are in most cases different. Okay, so that's one thing. The other thing is a reflection I just had before I made this video. Actually, what inspired me to make this video is I was thinking about our conscious mind, and I was reflecting on archetypes. Archetypes being like little tiny pieces of the infinite, if you will, little pieces of information that are expressed as an identity, and the collective infinity is the sum total of all identities, is the mass identity. Anyways, the mind, our conscious, even our conscious personality, like me right now, the way I look, the way I think, the way I speak, all these things is just like a thin piece of paper in comparison to like a skyscraper. That's about what we have access to consciously right now. It's a tiny, thin piece of paper. And the why I'm saying this is because what you're manifesting, or what's blocking your ability to manifest, is somewhere way down here in a different layer of you that could be completely different than who you think you are right now. Who you think you are right now could be someone totally different than what's going on under here. That you have to understand. So that's why you can have a really strong desire consciously that you want this much money, or you want to have this car. but it doesn't happen. And even after using tools and all these things, it's because there's a part of you, somewhere more subtle version of you, which the subtler is more powerful. The more subtle is the subtlest is the most powerful. So in order to manifest, you have to fix the subtle environment. Not the conscious is the last stage of that. The subtle environment is what needs to be fixed, and that's why you can struggle to manifest no matter how bad you want something. You have to push that deep down into yourself, and that's why there's a a lot of humans, and I'm speaking from my personal experience and reflections. Is it's we deny a lot of things. We're in a like a collective and individual state of denial. There are aspects of ourself that we either choose not to see or are unable to see because of our current mindset. So in order to get to those levels, it's not enough to just think about it all the time. You have to do. This is why meditation is really important, because meditation in a nutshell is it's focus, but it's going from the conscious mind into the subconscious, unconscious mind. It's subtilizing your mind, subtilizing your awareness, and that's why you have to be able to meditate. And meditation just means how do I say, it's awakening and unlocking your mind, because your mind is not this little narrow band who you think you are, this piece of paper. That's not you. That's just a very small aspect, tiny fraction of who you are. Your mind is so much more deeper than that. It's like a drop in an ocean. It's so much more deeper. So I hope this helps give some understanding about who you are and exploring yourself, because I can tell you from personal experience, having all these different readings and these things lately, this is another reason why I'm kind of inspired to share this, is I've learned so many different aspects of myself that I just did not know from this limited identity that I have now. So I hope this helps. Please share in the comments below your thoughts and what you took away from this video. And if you have, in general, any other videos you'd like me to create, or any thoughts, your feedback is very welcome. And thanks for watching. God bless.